Welcome to OG Foundation, capital of the sovereign state of Valodium. I'm Sovereign Non-Valodium, your host, and this is episode 4 of season 12 here at OG Foundation. So, last week I finished this dome behind me, and then I'll be focused on that dome and floor section and wall section this week. It is Friday morning right now. So last week I got coverage on this whole arch section. I got it all up. I got coverage on it all the way connecting over to this pillar and got those forms up and stuff. The next step, and then the last thing I did was getting this section over here, this sort of transition section from this flying buttress, which is what comes up and intersects this wall, which transitions from the arch. So I got the transition from the flying buttress section to the floor section. And so I think what I'll do first is get a wet batch on that whole kind of arch section, as well as an undercoating under here, and probably an overcoat if I have enough mortar in the batch. But once I get another coat on all of that, I should be able to pull the form. And before I do that, I might want to put another piece of remesh up there and bend around the corner. So that's the first plan for the day. So I got that piece of remesh stapled and secured up, which ties into the next piece of rebar. Ideally they overlap 6 inches, but because of the way I did the mortar, it can't overlap 6 inches, but that'll end up being just fine. And then I pulled the form here, which you can kind of see how it starts with all the staples sticking out, and sometimes there's some pieces of the particle board that stick. So I bend the staples up and then scrape all the wood pieces off, and then I'm going to end up just moving this form up to right here, but not until after I clean all this up and then get a coat of wet mortar on that as well. But first I gotta just tie this lath in. I really wanted to bend the corner with the lath, so that was one of the primary reasons I pulled that form, though it had to be done kind of regardless. It was Friday night. It was a complete disaster. The lightning just struck the shipping container, took out one of my whole power systems. This is all water. This whole area got flooded. There's a deluge coming, or that just is ongoing. Hopefully passing soon, but like everything is flooded. Probably lost like $6,000 to $10,000 of equipment in a lightning strike, and it's just a disaster. So last night we got struck by lightning. Caused a ton of damage. 2 out of 3 of the power systems are down. The hot water heater is fried. It looks like a vehicle is damaged. I think it actually hit like right here, or like one little bolt maybe, which it doesn't really make sense why, but I think this polystyrene here was like exploded out by the lightning. The top one is from the chickens, but this bottom one and then this split plywood and like that burn mark I think was from the lightning. I actually saw it strike. I think it hit the shipping container on the other side of the castle. So that would have only been a minor bolt, because the major bolt I saw and was over by the shipping container. But the water heater's fried, the 2 power systems are fried, there's lights that are fried, a lot of damage. Very unfortunate. And then there was like a deluge. It was like my whole house flooded. It was crazy. It was really crazy. Here's proof that worms come in the rain. There's no other way for this worm to get in there but from the rain. Worms come in the rain. I don't know how many times I've seen it. This is what an inverter looks like on the inside of it. Apollo's helping me to try to troubleshoot, see if we can figure out a blown fuse or something, so this isn't just a big piece of junk. So with Apollo's help, I have identified 4 blown fuses out of the 8 that it has, and luckily I've got these replacement fuses, so hopefully when I replace those 4, this thing will work again. Ruh-roh. Turns out this thing still has power in it even when it's completely unplugged. I guess one of these capacitors or whatnot. But I accidentally crossed the top left and the bottom right of those when I was installing the fuse and got a big spark. Hopefully it's alright. So I'm over 1. The last inverter was totally fried. After I replaced the 4 fuses and plugged it in, things exploded. So it's done. Here's inverter from bank number 3 that I finally figured out how to take it apart, even more complicated than the other one. And I realized it's not a fuse. This popped right there. And that's the thing that goes to the screen. And maybe to other things. And the green stuff isn't supposed to be coming off of the coppery stuff there. So this one's probably all messed up. I'm thinking about trying to solder something. Just lost the power for the light. Like, I'm thinking about trying to solder that right there. But it's almost certain I'm not going to benefit anything. But since it's already broken, so far this lightning strike has cost about $800. 2 inverters, hot water. No, that's $1,000. Very unfortunate, and partly my fault for not, probably, I don't even know, but it's probably all my fault. Check it out, I actually soldered it. So that strip on the right was loose, and I got like an ugly solder on there. Sorry for the video quality. So the chances that I'll actually fix it are like slim to none. But it's kind of interesting to do anyways, and to mess around with the tools that I have. So I'm gonna like plug it in and see what happens. Nope, no change. 2 inverters fried by lightning. Now I'm going to take apart this old inverter that was damaged by goat damage, kind of indirectly from, or water damage indirectly from the goats. But now that I'm in the mode of taking apart inverters, here's the 3rd broken inverter. But this one wasn't from lightning, this was from a couple months ago, but maybe I can fix this one because my track record's so good thus far. Yeah, there's no way I'm going to be able to fix this. But it's not the fuses. But I figure, before I throw all these things out, there's a lot of things I probably could salvage. Like there's these fans. I can salvage fans, I can salvage fuses. Maybe I can salvage some other things, so it's not all total junk. Chinese junk. And now I gotta order more junk to replace this junk. So you don't have to worry about when you just plug into the grid. And it's nice to have redundancy of different power systems until you get struck by lightning. Then, well, it's nice that I still have one power system running, even when these other 2 broke. So I ordered a replacement for the 48 volt one, which is the big one, and I'll have to order another one, basically. This is the extension cord that was right near the lightning strike. That, and then over here, like, seem to have like exploded apart. Crazy. And then where that extension cord plugs into the other one, they're like melted together. I cannot pull these apart. So I displaced this one extension cord in like 5 different places from where it exploded from the lightning. But it is now working again. Though it is fused with the next extension cord that it's plugged into. But they're working. So I ordered replacement inverters, cheap ones that I can afford. And then ordered a replacement water heater. That was the last entanglement from my ex-wife. But that's another story. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. I bore the shame on that one. So the change of plan is to leave that floor joist in place and then to work up instead of pulling it right now. One of the reasons I wanted to pull it is because of that gap there, and I wanted to be able to connect those 2, but I figure I'll be able to do some stuff underneath and just like connect it while that floor joist stays in there. And power is going to be really limited with just the one. That vehicle got struck by lightning too. The whole vehicle is fried. What was I saying? Oh, power is going to be really limited for cement mixing. But anyways, I'll do a lot of metal work, and maybe I can do one batch. But it's just incessant rain, and so it is what it is. Making do. Oh, there's Zara over there. Beautiful girl. I haven't actually tested if the cement mixer still works yet. Oh, thank God. My most valuable piece of equipment is okay. So now that this new section, which I built at the end of last week, has got its overcoat and undercoat, I can get out on it, even though that isn't like underneath that floor joist isn't connected. It'll still be solid enough for me to get on, at least like out to there-ish. And I could probably stand on it around the corner, but I wouldn't want to risk it cracking. So now I can get out and do more metal work on this piece of lath. And what I'm actually going to do first is add a piece of rebar to this and extend it out that way. And I'm either, once I do that, I'm going to figure out if I'm just going to do like a single arch from that, maybe down to that corner, or I might split it or like fork it and do like one arch to there and one arch to there. I haven't quite figured it out, but I'm going to connect this first piece and see what it looks like. So I decided to go with just the single. The forking might have been cooler, but the single was definitely simpler. So I just tied that into that corner there, and it's I think it's about the right height. Anyways, it should be good enough. And then that will give me a line that's a little stronger, that's a little more arched than the rest of the flatness of it. And then I can tie the flatness into the archness, and that should help with the strengthness of it. Because we're working with tension for the flat part as opposed to compression, but the arch will give some compression for the tension to tie into. Yeah, so now I can do more rebar and use up all my rebar, and then I'll be all out of rebar. Though I still have a whole pallet of Portland left and a good bit of remesh and lath, but I'll have to get more of all three. Check it out. This is gonna be like compression, tension on that rebar thing from there to the cross section. From the cross section to the left is going to be tension, and then from there to that side is going to be compression, and from there to that side is going to be compression. So there'll be arch on two sides with compression, and then tension on the other two sides. Smarter minds than mine will be able to tell if that's a good idea, but I'm just going to make it. So I got the next piece of remesh on, and I'm shaping it without rebar there, so just the remesh will hold the shape, and kind of like bending it down to that arch, and then just place the lath over the thing to cut the lath to the right shape, and then I've got to go underneath and fasten the lath up from underneath after I've cut it. So then I end up with a shape like that, and I just need a couple ties from underneath pretty close to the right place. And then I can kind of get all right from above once it's kind of fastened from below. So Monday, right around noon, finally got a break in the rain. I'm going to see how much of that bit there I can undercoat, because I got this ladder in a kind of sketchy setup, but I should be able to get more of that. And then I got a good bit of that lath, and should have enough surfaces available for one batch of mortar, and hopefully it doesn't get rained out. I'm going to definitely add some calcium nitrate though, because it's chilly. Uh-oh, Benedict's up on the build again. Don't go on the metal, buddy. Don't go on the metal. This is the second time he's gotten up there. The last time was about a week ago, and I kind of freaked out, and Han kind of freaked out. Mostly I did, because there was so many dangerous things for him to kind of fall through. Oh, he's going right for my pipe, of course. What are you doing, mister? I'm supposed to be up here. Get out of there. Hey. Quit eating that. Get out of there. Don't go that way either. Go on, get down. Go back to Han. Yeah, I see you. Come on, get out of here. Come on, out of here. Let's go back down. Hey, on. Come on, go back down. Get out of here. Go back where it's on. Come on. This way, this way. Follow me, follow me. Come on, follow me, follow me. Maybe if I offer him my pipe, he'll follow. This way. Come on. Oh, it's still a little sketchy here, because I need more stairs. Come on, you. Come back down this way. Don't go up there. Come on. Come down. This way. Good boy. Come on, all the way down. Good boy. So I got the undercoat done as much as I could over there, over here, and second coat on kind of this corner there, so that's nice and solid. And I'm about to start up there with the last bit of the batch. So I just finished laying down the mortar and it's rained immediately. Rough stuff. So I did my best to plastic it and we'll see what happens. Monday night, and Grizzly over here, she's sitting on some eggies for the first night. So if she's sitting on them tomorrow, I'm going to move her over to the other one like I did with Wisdom and give her a chance. So by the end of the day, Tuesday, I was able to do lots of rebar work. It's probably a little bit hard to see with the lighting, but there's basically like a rebar arch coming off of every corner, whether compression or tension. And then over here by the staircase, I kind of figured out a transition for that and kind of boxed that in, and then got 2 batches of mortar done, extending this flat section, getting a good bit of undercoat and a good bit around these circles and just other areas that needed more coats. So very productive, and it was a nice break in the rain. Here's the top-down view on Wednesday morning. You can see how the rebar has enclosed this stairwell, and there's more rebar, and the remesh right up next to the stairwell is going to have 6 inches up. It's kind of like a little safety wall, and I'll do something like that by the kind of the other side of it. And then there's a little bit of more kind of gray at the edge of this. I was thinking pretty much because of the rain, I guess. Took away a little bit of the Portland of the top layer, probably because the other darker stuff here. At first I was thinking it was just the calcium nitrate, but the other stuff here didn't have that happen. So a little bit of rain damage, but it should be fine. But today I'll see about more metal work, probably more mortar work. And I put this panel right there to kind of flatten it out because the way that it was arching, the remesh was getting a bit tall right there. So I wanted to mortar it in at a different shape. So that's why I put that panel on top. What I'd really like to do today is be able to connect that section so I can actually walk out over there. If I could walk out over there, it'll make a lot of things easier. I've got to trim some tree branches, and then I can put a form over there, and once I can walk all the way out, then I can start working my way over with this. So that'll be the goal for today. I scared the ducks or geese away. Look how high the sea of Endor is today. Look at the size of this egg. It's the smallest egg I've ever seen. Every once in a while they'll make really small eggs, but that's the smallest one I've ever seen. End of the day, Wednesday, I decided to extend that kind of wall over the arch there just as a straight line and intersect this just like that. So I put that 4x4 piece of particle board on at an angle and screwed it to the floor joist sitting on top of the fin, kind of like arch thing there, and then put the lath at even more of an angle, overlapped the fin a little bit, got coverage on that, and then put a piece of rebar in there so that that wall will tie into this wall over here, stabilize this front wall where it's tall and doesn't have a lot of like lateral stabilization. And put a piece of remesh in there. I was kind of questioning what to do about this whole transition, and the reason that I'm going to leave it as a triangle there is I think it's going to somehow be a stairway eventually, like to go up to the roof, something like that. I'll crawl under and show you the other side. Oh yeah, also, I had a bit of an issue here because the rebar ran into the form, and I figure that if it's not too tight, hopefully I can still pull the form. I might have to hack that thing apart, that piece of plywood there, when I end up pulling it, but I figured the way that I did it, I'll be able to keep it kind of loose, and then after I pull the form, I can connect it with that other piece of rebar and get it nice and tight. And then over here, I wasn't able to get all the way over there like I kind of wanted to, but I got really close to connecting with where that form is. There's mortar under it, so one more day I can get the top connected, and then I can also get another coat on the top layer of this, and then undercoat it, and hopefully it'll be strong enough to walk on. It's pretty sketchy because it's not in an arch shape, so I've been trying not to go too far out on there. I also put another piece of rebar in over there, and yeah, it's all a bit sketchy. I don't think I'll ever do a floor like this again. It's easier to just do a whole arched thing and then figure out with like insulation and aircrete and other things to then level it out than I think it is to do this, but it's a learning lesson. We'll see how it all turns out. Here's how this is looking going down. So I got a lot of coverage on those circles. I did some lath around the circles. I cut in 3 of them, and I got horizontal rebar around there, and then vertical rebar. So it's all kind of building up. I need the foundation, I need it to come up before I can kind of do the floor all the way over there. So got 2 batches of mortar done, a lot of metal work today. That piece of rebar right there is kind of evening out that circle, which was uneven. But yep, that's all for today. End of the day, Thursday. I'm now through the first pallet of Portland, so I'm gonna have to bust into pallet number 2 of Portland. And it was raining, so I couldn't do mortar today, but I made myself useful and re-upped on the steel. I just got through basically the last of the rebar, so I got another 60 pieces of rebar, re-upped with 30 pieces of lath and some more remesh, and other than maybe a few more pieces of remesh, I should be all set to finish the Molly Stark tower with materials. So I got rained out again, but not before I got some more metal work done. It's just another piece of lath there, another piece of rebar there, and as I kind of get the rebar in, I'm able to kind of work the level. Like the rebar can adjust it a 1/2 inch depending on whether the rebar goes above or below the previous. So you can see like that rebar is like above, below. And yeah, I got that tied up for when the rain clears. Should be able to get another batch on, maybe do some undercoating, and then I'll be off and away over in that direction. So hopefully the weather is permitting in the next week and I can get more done than in this week. But recovered from the lightning strike pretty much and making progress. This garden bed is getting planted. It got all weeded out and new compost, and that one's in the process of it too. Getting some fence up on it, or somebody is, so the chickens and goats will stay out. And the inverter company gave me a 50% off coupon, so I was able to replace the expensive inverter. And I've got the inverter for the 48 volt battery bank in the shipping container down there waiting for me. Just gotta go get it with the boys. And then I moved Grizzly, the chicken, over to the other coop with the egg she was sitting on. So she's quite a flighty one. I don't know if she'll sit on these eggs, we'll see. But hopefully she does, and she's on day 2 or 3. And that is all for this week. We're all recovered basically from the lightning strike once I hooked this inverter back up. And resupplied and forging forward with the Molly Stark tower. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you next week. The boys are cleaning up the blackberries. They just love the blackberries. You guys want to go get a package? Package? Come on, boys, let's go get a package. Still get some grasses. Such a good boy. Mr. Sundance. Come on, boys, time to get a package. Come on, boys. Come on, boys, we gotta go get a package. Package time! Come on, boys, package time! Woo! Package! Got the package. Inverter. Boys are making friends.